going to connect with me? Are we going to connect? Ooh, okay, I think we're live on Facebook in all of the spaces. Let's see, Katie Gall.
Oh, it says meeting is now live on Facebook.
And let's see if she lies like she's been lying all night in Mercury.
Well, I mean, it looks different on my end.
Oh, we're live. I see our faces gleaming. Okay, so now I'm gonna share this out to my personal page. Share to a oh, how do I do that though? Let's see here.
There we go.
This is just freaking fantastic. All right, so if at first you don't succeed, try and try and try again. We are live and in color with my beautiful friend of many, many years. And I believe that in a world, and I'm going to lead with the heavy. We've been talking about, we've been preparing for this moment for like the last 45 minutes, and
so true.
And then Mercury retrograde would not let us prosper.
No, it did not. It did not. It was like, no, thank you.
It was a thank you next, right? But here we are, and we're finally live. And I am going to lead with the heavy by telling you, dear Katie Gall, that I really believe that love can build a bridge.
Yeah.
And I believe that while there are lots of things to atone for and a lot of tough conversations to be had in our communities, like close to us and at large, I believe that when people get together face to face like this, for all of the ills in the world, we are somehow healed by it.
Yeah. I think that we so often, especially with like the social media thing, we forget that it's people on the other end. And like half the shit that we say to each other, am I allowed to swear on this?
You absolutely are. You absolutely are.
Half the shit that we say to each other on the internet, we would absolutely not say in real life. We would actually have a conversation.
100% we would talk about it, and we wouldn't like throw a rock and then turn a corner and act like it wasn't you, especially if it was only you on the block. You know, people are throwing daggers and harmful words to each other all over the place. Not
only to each other, but I think to ourselves as well. Like that's what makes it so much easier to do it to each other.
Because we're doing it to ourselves. I'm gonna take this vibe down a little bit for us.
Yeah.
Because that was like a nice way to like open things up, but I didn't feel like staying at the party.
That's fair.
Could you hear it?
I think I took us away from the party. I tend to do that.
No. I'm talking about the music. Like the music was actually like causing like a bit of like a angst in me. Like I was like, are we at the jamboree?
Yeah.
It was hard for me to stay a little present. But yeah, if we, like you're saying, if we got face to face and pulled it out of the computer screens and just placed it into relationships about anything and everything, it doesn't got to be black mama, white mama.
Yeah, no.
I think that plays out in our dynamic tonight because, you know, I love speaking to anyone who's down with love.
Yeah.
And so if you're out there watching right now, we would love to hear from you. We are down with love. And so we've gathered tonight for that sole purpose, for the sole purpose of being down with love. Yeah, this vibe is a lot better.
I like it.
Okay, would you do an opening like woo-woo meditation with me?
Yeah. Absolutely. I actually did one before coming onto this call even.
It's really important. It's really important. I don't think people really recognize, but we're going to talk about all the ways to be healthy tonight with you.
Yes.
I don't think people recognize how cleansing it could be to just do what we're about to do. And that is, oh, perfect music cue. Take a breath. I couldn't have planned it better. That was so beautiful. Look at what coming into the present moment will do for you, friends. just abiding here. It is now 26 minutes past the top of the hour wherever you are on this planet. If you have been gifted with breath, what the old black saints of my childhood used to say, the breath of life. If you have the breath of life in your body, I dare you to do what Katie and I are doing right now. If you have the breath of life in your body, I dare you, listener, either now or in a podcast later, to put your hands on your chest. And if the only meditation that you can have is the in-breath and the out-breath, we grant that freedom to you now. In the churchy language of my past, and we're going to talk in a second about whether Katie was raised churchy or not. In the churchy language of my past, where 2 or 3 were gathered, they said that the Spirit was in the midst. Now, I don't know if this is like fairy tales or allegory or, white man controlling shit through literature. I don't know exactly what it was anchored in, these words that were handed in my traditions, or one of my traditions, but they said where 2 or 3 were gathered, that God was in the midst. But God is really sticky because it's different things to different people. It's not the same thing to Katie that it is to me. It's not the same person. So for some people, God's a her. For some people, God's a him. And so you see how this can get really dicey. So I say, as we continue to breathe and feel the rising and falling of this beautiful moment, the rise and fall of this beautiful moment, I say that where 2 or 3 are gathered, the presence of love rises in the midst, and you can't fake it. That's what I love about it. Your joy can be so full, and your gratitude for the breath of life can be so abundant that, wow. If you ever in your life hear the conversation that we're about to have, if you ever in your life hear it, or if you ever in your life see it, you're one of the blessed people. Internet connections, metal and glass technology. And some people want to use it, friends, keep breathing. Some people want to use it for purposes of evil. Some people want to prove how smart they are on it. Some people want to show you how great they are on it. And, some of these things have their place. We all want to see everybody win, right? But these tools then turn into devices of competition and negative feedback, self-hate and loathing. Where the fuck did that come from? Keep breathing. Where did that beach looks nice. Why am I not on a beach? Where did their kids look cute? Why are mine running around naked? There's all of these ways in which we get lifted into this really toxic flow. But I love that I have friends like Katie who say, yes, I will come and we will Little Miss Muffet on a motherfucking tuffet for love. And I could weep about it because I'm emotional and I smoke that good herb. But I could weep about it. All you need, friends, is one person to say yes. And I'll tell you who that person is. Keep breathing. It's you. If you say yes to you, stand back. Woo! stand back. My neighbors are going to think I'm under attack, but I don't care. If you can fall in love with you tonight, I'm that love preacher. I ain't got no church, don't want one. I ain't trying to save your soul. I don't give a fuck about your salvation. I want you to see it for yourself. Keep breathing, friends. If you can let that person who stands in your corner be you tonight, at 32 minutes past the top of the hour, wherever you are, if you can let that person be you, if you could stand first in your corner just for the next hour, I'm not asking you to do it for the rest of your life. If you can just stand for you, Katie, if you can just stand for you, Andre, if you can just stand for you, whoever's under the sound of my voice, if you can just stand for you for this next hour and just open yourself to this flow of love that's falling on you, whether you want to feel it or not. But I would recommend that you catch it. Everything else is falling in this motherfucker. Why not love? Why not love? Catch it. Keep breathing. We're going to just stay here for maybe 2 minutes more, and then we'll move into the gratitude guest, our wonderful friend who mentioned on a live stream before the live stream, hashtag Mercury retrograde, who mentioned that we met in a Trader Joe's wine shop. Wait, over a decade ago. Mm-hmm. Katie. Mm-hmm. And you know I don't give golf claps or fake tears to white people. You know this about me. I don't have time for the games, but it matters to me, friend. It matters to me. I have no reason to applaud a white lady in public, especially in this climate, but you matter to me. And the reason why you matter to me, that's our transition. We're good with the meditation. The reason why you that's how it works. People think meditation is like, I'm like, it's done. The reason why you matter to me is because we met. I'll let you tell it in a second, but we met there, and here we are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There are people in our lives that didn't exist when we met there.
Yeah, like my husband.
and the people that fell out of you.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. Them too.
And I think the way female anatomy is set up. Sorry, guys. I think the way, and gals and people, I think the way the female anatomy is set up, and part of my ignorance, you only get a certain amount of eggs, like in your entire fucking life, right?
Yeah.
So without being graphic and like in your shit, when we met and hugged it out on that day in New York City, and I was visiting here on vacation.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I was hugging people that fell out of you years later. Like,
half a person that fell out of me, technically.
I'm that meta with my shit. Like, it's really remarkable that some people stick and we're blessed for it. And then some people don't stick and we're blessed for it. But to the point of the matter, you have stuck for 11 years. Okay, so I'll let you tell everybody how we as two stars in this big galaxy that's full of stars. I'm gonna stop and say this before I let you talk. Everybody is a star.
Yep.
Everybody's. So what'd you say?
I said there's enough of them. We all get to be one. Yep.
You picked it up. You picked up what I was putting down. Like, it's chill. We all get to like win here, right?
Yeah.
So two stars collide in 2009.
Yes.
I had just stumbled off a cruise ship to go on vacation. I had just done like 18 months on the water. And I said, I want to go to the city of my dreams where I want to live one day. My happy place, New York City. I got on a plane with my cast as our ending trip together and flew here. And then something magic happened. Go for it.
Okay. So I was in Trader Joe's. I was in line. I'm a red wine drinker. At the time you were 2, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah. And I don't know where I was going. I don't know where you were going. But both of us needed white wine for some reason and didn't know. Yeah. So the reason that I know that that's true is because I had just had a whole conversation with some other random customer about what a good white wine was, because I was like, I don't know, I just like the cheap red shit.
Were you working there?
Nope. No, I was not. It was just some other person that I was like, is this good?
Wait, let me paint a picture. Katie on her afternoon. This is why I want white people to get about their fucking work. Katie had the time as a white lady to stand in the middle of Trader Joe's being a makeshift sommelier. On a Tuesday.
Somebody who had never tasted the wine before, did not know what I like. Literally, I think I was in line, and I might have been the last person in line, and you were like wandering around looking for a white, and you just came up to me and you were like, do you know a good white wine? And I was like, not really, but I was told this is good.
White lady looks confident in Trader Joe's. Ask her. We were both out of bounds that day. Like everybody was playing in the sandbox. It was all love. Okay, keep going. So did you recommend one for me?
I did. I just told you to get the thing that I got. And you were like, great. And you did, to my knowledge. Now what was crazy though, so you get the wine, we say goodbye outside, we had a good time in line, and chit chat, whatever.
Yeah.
What was crazy, I go to a hookah bar later that night.
Yeah, and for context, everybody who's watching, thank you, people who are tuned in and who's going to listen to this later. It was literally like friendly love, all love, probably like hug. Nice to meet you, Katie. Like blessings. Like I'm never going to see you again. Thanks for the wine recommendation.
Yeah, like no trading of Facebook info or phone numbers. Like
bad
not
girl.
planning on seeing you ever again. At all.
This is how you know the universe is magic. Keep going.
Yes. And so later that night, I go to a hookah bar with two friends. We walk in, and I see this guy who I'm like, you look familiar. I saw you at Trader Joe's earlier today. What? And I have a sneaking suspicion that you had not only had alcohol, but had something else as well.
Is water wet? I'm about to have it now.
Because you looked at me so hard. Like you were like, I know you. Why do I know you?
Because let's pause to tell the story. Like from the other side, it's like I've been in New York City for probably like 6 hours at that point. I'm getting the wine to take it back to the hotel to like pregame so that I don't spend all my money in this dusty motherfucker that's too expensive. So the concept of it being millions of people here and seeing the same white girl again, like on the same day, and white women are everywhere here, so like It was just kind of like I was trying to piece it. Okay, keep going, because this is across a hookah bar in the Lower West Side.
It was on Greenwich.
That's it.
McDougal.
Over there by like Cafe Wah and all of that.
Yes.
Like in that neighborhood.
Yes, right across from Mamoo's. The
falafel place. Yes. Mamoons.
Delicious.
Chow, you want to talk about
falafel?
Don't you
talk about
Yes, and you want to talk about but I was about to go into a depression state because I can't get to Mamoons because that required me getting on the MTA in COVID.
Yeah.
And you see our numbers are doing this little thing, a public service announcement. Our numbers in New York are doing this little thing of like creeping up, and like their neighborhoods, they're like red zones where people don't give a fuck about other people. And and then those people that don't give a fuck about other people stumble onto the train with people like me who actually just want Mamoons. And then for a falafel, a motherfucker dies.
Don't die for a falafel. There's probably other falafel near you.
Make it make sense.
Honestly, I don't know that I can make it make sense. People suck sometimes.
People suck sometimes,
but people are also really good sometimes.
And people are really good sometimes.
Yeah.
Can we breathe on that together? Thanks everybody who's hanging out with us. We're just two little Miss Muffets sitting on our tuffets of gratitude. There's a lot. I may cry again. There's a lot of evil in the world, y'all. hear me when I say this, and this is not for the flex, and this is not for the gram. It may go back, it may get reposted on Instagram, truthfully, but like it's not for that purpose. Like, dead ass, there's evil in the world. There are people who are trying to rip the lovers apart. And that really makes me sad, y'all. And so we gather on Wednesday nights consistently, not so that you can hear my annoying voice, yet blessed voice. It's annoying to some of you, but trust that it's blessed. Hear she when she says that it's blessed. And so we gather to remember that blessing and to talk to friends who want to just remember that blessing. Welcome to the Good Report. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to a space of freedom. I want to borrow from my friend Jillian Page, who got married last weekend. You are full, you are safe, and you are enough. Right now, I only push live. I only restart the live like we did tonight 3 fucking times. I only do all of that so I can share with you what I'm hearing the other birds in the trees tweet. I'm hearing them tweet that you are full, you are safe, and you are enough. And I'm just passing it on. Katie, you are full, you are safe, and you are enough. What you got to say?
Honestly, just thank you. That's the thing that just came to mind. I was like, oh, yes. Because I think, especially in the work that I do, feeling enough.
Tell people about the work that you do.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things I do is I teach voice. Cool. The thing that I'm more and more interested in is...
Wait. Why is voice like that old thing? You can we talk about it?
We can talk about it, sure.
Okay.
It's what I've been doing for a very long time, and it's good, and I love a lot of aspects of it. But I want to help people on an even deeper level. And so that's why I'm a health and life coach as well. And you said something earlier during the meditation. Shoot, what did you say? Something about being allowed to love yourself.
Yeah.
Or finding love for yourself.
Permission to love yourself. I'm not sure if I said it that way, but yeah.
It's something along those lines.
Standing in your own corner first.
Yes.
Being first in your own line.
Yes. The way that I put it is you have to be you, and pretty much only you, unless you have young children, have to be the middle of your bullseye.
Yeah.
And that's not, I will say that's not mine originally. That's a business coach's.
Of course. And it's a fucking bullseye. I mean, she didn't make that up. Did she invent that shit?
She didn't make up bullseyes, but she's got a whole thing.
That's why.
But you have to be the middle of your own bullseye. You have to be the center. And if you're, and that's what a lot of my work ends up being, is teaching people how to move away from the shame that has pushed them out of their center.
Say that one more time and say it gently.
Yeah, I help people.
You don't have to say it gently.
Well, now I'm like, shit, what did I say?
You said you help people out of the shame.
I help people deal with and manage the shame that has pushed them out of the center of their own bullseye in such a way that means that they don't take care of themselves anymore.
There's a shame that pushes them out of the center of their bullseye, so they don't take care of themselves anymore.
Because other things have gone into the middle.
Say that one more time.
Because other shit, if you push yourself out of the middle, then it's still going to get filled. It's still the middle. It's just filled with other stuff that doesn't necessarily help you or feed you or make you feel good.
And so tell me about the shame part, because you said you help people get themselves out of the shame. What does that look like? It sounds very Brene Brown-ish. It sounds very
I love her, so that's not super surprising.
Okay, cool.
It's predominantly.
What's your take?
Well, I work a lot with body shame. I have a lot of people who come to me wanting to change their body in some capacity. And what we end up discovering, to be perfectly honest, frequently the changes that they end up making, they end up happier, but it's not the original change that they started with.
Meaning they came to fix the outside, but
they came to fix the outside, and they realized that there's something inside that's not working. Yeah, and that's the shame piece.
Yeah, what it looks and feels like to pressure wash the inside of the house. Can we riff on that for a second? That feels juicy to me. What is pressure wash? Because you're a holistic coach, right? Like that is your thing. That is your crunch. You're like, the fact that I could sing is just a side gift, honey. That's a side hustle. The fact that I could sing, I could teach you how to sing.
Well, the singing, that was the original plan until I realized that I really hated New York City.
Wait, well, I didn't know that part because you did disappear. You changed location. I saw it happen on Instagram, not Instagram. I think this is pre-Instagram. So I saw it happen on Facebook, and I was like,
yes,
she had a whole new last name and she left the city. What did New York do to her?
It was not my flow. It was causing me, just being in the city was causing me so much stress. I grew up in New Hampshire.
And you were here as an artist. What were you doing here? You were here pursuing.
I went to NYU for vocal performance and vocal pedagogy for my undergrad and my master's.
And what was if it's not, it's just the truth of life. What was the goal? What was your outer that you wanted to see?
Yeah. So it depends on when I originally came, I was going to be on Broadway.
Yes.
Obviously, right?
Obviously.
Everybody,
because everybody makes it there. Everybody.
Every single person.
Every person.
You're the weirdo
that's ever tried.
Everybody.
Can we stop the bullshit, please, on the love of God? Keep going. Keep going.
Well, this is the other thing that I end up talking, because I work with a lot of performers, and this is what I end up talking about is like, you can have theater in your life in a way that does not equal Broadway and be perfectly happy and be paid well and like live a full and vibrant life without being in New York City, without being the Broadway person. I know Broadway people, lovely people. You're one of them. Like
I'm one of them, and I'm telling you, it sucks to be around that much competition. It sucks to be in that space all the fucking time, where the next 5'8", 150, I'm fudging that number, pound black dude is just the same as, I could name 5 of them because we're always in the same audition rooms, and that's only until the other 20 come. 5'8", good looking black men.
Of course.
So many of them, and yet we're all vying for that slot in the one black show that season on Broadway. Can I get a witness, anybody? Did anybody come to talk real today? This is Keeping It Real with Katie, right? Okay.
I don't know that it's necessarily exactly the same thing, but being a white woman soprano in the similar situation.
Line around the block.
Yeah, line around the fucking block. And now here's the thing. I got into NYU after I transferred into NYU. I went in for classical voice with this devious plan, very devious, that I was going to transfer into Tisch. I ended up really liking classical voice, actually.
And so, what were you going to transfer into Tisch for?
For musical theater.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I was in Steinhardt.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I ended up really liking classical voice, but the thing with classical is more expensive than musical theater because you're pay to play.
Explain that to me, because I dabble in classical, but I don't do it full time.
No, that's totally fine. So you have to pay to audition. You have to pay your accompanist to be at your audition a lot of the time. You have to pay for young artist programs For musical theater, you leave school and you're auditioning. You have to pay for shit, obviously, but you're going to auditions where you can just be at the audition. It's a cattle call, but you can be at the audition.
Because you're in school and they build this in, so that's a leg up too. That's a leg up.
Well, and it's also a matter of in classical music, you're expected. There's an aging period.
Oh yes. The shit falls out. Especially, and I say this with all the grace in my heart, you're the clinician in this, but particularly for female vocalists, there's so many things. I shouldn't even be speaking to this. You should be speaking to this, but I've heard, I'll put it this way. I've heard as a student of voice myself, I've heard that even having babies and things can shift a woman's voice classically and beyond.
A lot of things, and I mean that it can do that for musical theater too, certainly.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, you're like the musical theater babies change shit too. Okay.
No, but I mean, yeah. Well, when talking about having babies,
yes,
all those hormones are flooding your body, asking for fluid to go everywhere, including in the vocal folds, so they get really heavy, and for me personally, for some women, it's fine. For me personally, it sucks to sing while pregnant.
What was singing while I didn't even wake up this morning? I told you this is the magic of our moment. I didn't wake up this morning thinking I would be asking, what's it feel like to sing when you're pregnant? To you?
Yeah, hard. Just just hard.
I believe it because of the baby thing, but the air, your air.
Oh yeah, your air is totally messed up. I actually I found out I was pregnant in the middle of a show where I had a whole singing number, and in your first trimester, especially, you're nauseous, you're tired. I was trying to survive on very little food while being all sexy and shit. And I just wanted to go in the back room and curl up on a pillow.
And you didn't know you were pregnant, or you knew you were pregnant?
I found out that I was pregnant during it.
And we got to work. And is that allowed? Are women in me? I know these are the questions you don't get to ask when you're at Ripley Greer. Do women who are musical theater twirling, are they allowed to dance and move and do that rigorous stuff pregnant?
The only person who knew that I was pregnant was the choreographer, because I had to tell her certain things that I could not do.
To modify. Yeah.
Yeah. There was supposed to be a lift in there, and the doctors were like, you can do it, but we would prefer that you don't. Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to go with you guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, in general, you can do anything that you have been doing that you are already good at doing, with certain exceptions. I'm like a singer who dances. I'm not a dancer in my mind, so I'm not used to getting lifted up all the time.
Chell, if you're not a dancer in your mind, I'll tell you one thing: you're not a dancer then.
Well, exactly. Because yes.
Of all the places to be a dancer, if you were a dancer, it would need to start in your mind.
Absolutely. I consider myself a tap dancer, but I don't consider myself really any other kind of dancer. What is that?
But tapping is significant. You're a tap dancer then.
Yeah, no, I'm a tap dancer.
You can shuffle stuff.
I'm not like a pick me up and make me look pretty dancer. I'm 5'9".
You're just not that kind of dancer. But you can shuffle ball change, clip, slap, and all that shit with proficiency, like in mid-level. Equity production, or
probably not equity production. I would have to.
Let me take that back. Let me take that back real quick. Hold on. No, keep going. But just know I take it back, because equity. Ask if it's equity is like a bomb thrown off in the theater world. Keep going.
That's so true. No, because remember, I had a classical period in there, right? So I was tap musical theater, and then classical for 10 years, and you don't tap dance in classical, so I didn't really focus on it for a very long time. Had I been focusing on it the entire time, I probably would.
There's no aria burning the floor up. Oh, that's an idea. We shouldn't tell anybody about that.
Carmen maybe.
Carmen does it,
but not with tap. More with tango.
Ooh, okay. Let's not talk about that anymore. let's talk about that like behind the scenes, because I would love to like
Can we talk
whiteboard
about the
that.
space towel on your head?
Yeah,
'Cause I love it.
this is yeah, it's got. Oh yeah,
I
but
love it.
but it says I
I
need
need
my space.
Oh yes, that is fantastic.
So, it's cute, but it's still antisocial, like me. Like it says come closer, but also step back. You know, I turned on the AC in here because the lights that I'm under can get like intense in my home studio, and so I gotta chill. And then there's like there's this thing that I'm not sure if you heard about. I'm being facetious. I'm giggling in my voice, but I'm not being facetious. There's this thing that you may not have heard about called respectability.
Yes.
Have you heard of this?
I heard of respectability.
Okay, good. Okay. So I'm not trying to mansplain or anything like that. I just want to make sure that we're
Well, thank you for that, because frankly, we're tired of it.
sick of your shit, right? I'm
I'm
sick of your shit. So there's this thing. What? Oh, I forgot the word. What is the word I said?
Respectability?
Yes, there's a thing called respectability. Cue line. So there's a thing called respectability, which says that as the leader in this organization called Love City Arts and on this show, I need to be perfectly polished. My eyebrows need to be on fleek. My hairline needs to be laid. My beard needs to be flawless. That's what I need to be. That's what I need to do to be taken seriously. Also, to be taken seriously, I need to sit here in a refreshing cold, but a little chilly cold. And I need to sit here and just feel the whole chill of it and just be like miserable so that people can find me respectable and like me.
Well, I'm over here in pajama pants. I don't know. You didn't give me the clue in about respectability. I'm over here in pajama pants, drinking some whiskey with cherries in it.
What kind of whiskey? Name drop the whiskey. I love a good.
Makers.
Is it? Oh, Makers. Are you doing it like on the? How are you taking your whiskey?
So here's what I do. I don't know. I'm gonna move my camera.
Of course you can.
Cherries. Okay, so I take frozen cherries from Trader Joe's, because Trader Joe's will be a theme in our lives forever.
Forevermore.
Forevermore. They have frozen cherries at Trader Joe's that are delicious, and so I use them as ice, and then by the end of my drink, I have a little snack.
I love that trick. Are they releasing if this?
Yeah, their juices kind of release. They unfreeze. They become like really lovely.
A wet dream in the cup.
Yes. Like, not that I can't have wet dreams, but yes.
Okay, women don't have wet dreams.
I won't say that no woman does. I don't.
Okay, very, very well.
Which does not mean that women don't have sexy dreams. We have sexy dreams.
But women don't have. Someone let us know in the comments. I'm not sure if I can even see the comments. I don't know if I came in here on the right side of life, so I don't even know if how to see them. But y'all let us know in the comments if women can have wet dreams or not.
I gotta say, this is not the conversation I prepared for.
Oh. Well, we could talk about that too.
No. I like this conversation. It's just like never in my mind would I have been like, this is what we'll talk about.
Well, of course. We were talking about the fluid on women's vocal cords in pregnancy. Like
it's connected.
I think the magic. Someone said something. Katie was talking about singing while pregnant. Can we get back to that? I'm sorry, Lamont. My bad.
Lamont who?
Lamont Watson. Do you know Lamont Watson?
I know Lamont Watson. And for some reason now I can't remember his last name. I'm an asshole.
Look it up.
Yes. My Lamont.
It's your Lamont talking shit to me.
Lamont. We went to school together.
Lamont, you gonna come up in here, bruh, and talk shit unto me? Is that what we're doing tonight?
No, Lamont's a good person. Lamont's good people.
No, I'm not coming for Lamont. I'm not for real coming for Lamont. Like, no, H Lamont, and waiting for you, Katie, to be a friend, to be like, no, like we're not gonna be like Lamont can stay. Lamont says Katie was talking about singing while pregnant. Can we get back to that? I love when an audience tells me what they want to hear.
Yeah,
keep telling me what you want to hear in the comments. Real. Okay, so you're singing and you're pregnant, Katie. Go.
Yeah. So what happens in like first trimester is you get super bloated and everything sucks in your stomach, right? So your breathing just gets really funky. Now, obviously, as you go through pregnancy, baby gets bigger and bigger, so your breathing just kind of keeps being funky. Additionally, you have to be, because your vocal folds are getting more and more swollen, you have to be careful about over singing. But at the same time, it feels, again, this is my experience, and I know that it's a lot of other women's experiences, but there's some women who are just lucky. And they don't have to deal with the shit. You have to be careful because it feels harder to sing. Everything just feels, when you wake up and you're just off vocally and everything just feels heavy. It's like that every day.
Yeah, where the fluidity of moving and the dexterity of the voice is just not as malleable. It's like,
it just doesn't,
that muddy feeling.
Kind of like you can certainly get yourself warmed up and you can get yourself into good voice, but it's just always a little bit more work. It's just always a little bit more work, and so you have to be really careful that you're working from a place of what the term that I'll use is good support.
Yes.
Rather than ending up pushing. Yeah.
Fully filled 360.
Yeah, and like literally, like baby, like my most recent kid, his like feet were like up under my ribs, like in my lungs. Absolutely. So like if you think about like your normal ability to breathe,
absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Pass me by, Lord. Pass me by. Does that answer that, Lamont?
What else do you want to know, Lamont? Hi, I'm so excited that you're here. Also,
he says hi, Katie. He loves you. Y'all love each other. I love this. Feet in your rib cage does not sound like a good vocal day.
It's just kind of not a good day. The third trimester is really just a waiting game of like, dear Lord, can this child please leave? Can it leave now?
Wow. Yeah. Tell me about what it feels like for you in 2020 to be a mother. I'm if that's not too heavy.
No, that's fine. I'm weirdly lucky that my first kid was born 2 months early. And so that, strangely, that was a much more traumatic experience than having a child during COVID and during 2020.
You're saying having a preemie.
Having a very preemie. Mm-hmm. He ended up in the NICU for 4 weeks and 5 days. So I was living at a hospital for 6 weeks total. Right. So that was a much more traumatic experience than COVID. So when everything shut down and I was like, oh, all I have to do to keep my baby safe is just keep them at home. Okay.
Like deal. Like
done.
Been there.
Done that. That being said, I would say the hardest thing for me, actually, as far as 2020 COVID having kids is, this is not true across the board, but generally speaking, if you are the woman in the relationship, you're the one who, if the kids suddenly have to stay home, you're the one who stops working.
Well, under the patriarchy.
Correct. Yes.
Under that bullshit.
Correct.
That's how
and that
traditionally...
is not, and I do know people for whom that is not how it works. Like, I just
want to throw that out there because it's harmful for some people who maybe that isn't the best move. You know what I mean? Like. Oh yeah.
Totally.
Okay, so keep going. I just wanted,
Yeah, definitely. But especially as like the woman who was about to have the baby, who was about to be the breastfeeding woman. Who's the person that makes sense to not work? Me.
The breastfeeding woman.
The breastfeeding woman.
The amazing breastfeeding woman.
She's just sitting there with a remote control. Every once in a while, she just squirts into the audience. You can do that. Isn't that fun?
You can squirt your breast milk?
Yeah.
How far?
I haven't tried to go very far, but I have absolutely, like, if my kid like pulls off suddenly, he'll get squirted in the face.
Oh,
easily.
Wow. Out of you.
Out of me.
Wow.
So talk about wet dreams. That's where it happens, actually.
For the baby. I love it. Listen, okay, so there's some things that we want to hit and talk about tonight. This is just, I don't know how you feel about it with your whiskey and your frozen cherries over there, but I feel fantastic about what it means for our collective future to be able to continually build community by just jumping on lives and just bridging the gap with love. I think it's something that should not be a radical act, but it is. And this is just a little divert for a second. I want to encourage anybody who's listening to this now or will listen to it later. If you have something in your heart, an idea, an organization, something grassroots that's pushing love and the support of people, I don't want you scared. Like, I don't need to be and I'm certainly not the only person on planet Earth streaming right now. If you feel inspired, I don't give a fuck about a follower, because we're all teaching each other something, right? All the time. So if you feel compelled right now to leave, and people aren't saying this, people don't want to say this out loud, I'm saying it to you. If you're so inspired in your dream that you need to leave this live right now, listen to it later in replays, but if you need to leave this live right now and to go live and love on someone, I dare you to do it. And I don't care if the viewer drops to 0. I want everybody who has a magic inside them, and that's everybody, to be putting that light out in the world. We need this kind of moment. Tell me about your practice and how people come to you, and how you said they leave with, well, I said they leave your practice with a internal pressure wash.
Yeah. So the vast majority of people who come to me want to be healthier. They don't necessarily know what that means, but usually there's a weight loss component as well. Not always, but frequently. And so what we end up doing is saying, like, okay, yeah, we want to work on weight loss. Cool. I start giving them tools. They start discovering that there are blocks in the way. Because when it comes to being healthy, here's what I say. And I don't know if I'm like screwing myself marketing wise by saying this, but when it comes to being healthy, Google a food plan and see if you like it.
Yeah.
That's all. Google a food plan, find an exercise you like. That's it.
Can I say, I think people will actually, the right kind of people, your people, the people that will be drawn to your work and your business will respect the fact. I have more respect for you saying, Google any plan, try it and see if it works for you. You're not trying to take from people. You're giving that. You're like,
no. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't like giving people food plans. I'm not going to give you a specific exercise plan. Usually we will talk about building those things for yourself. Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for just a food plan to follow, I know other people who build that, who you can go talk to. You can Google it. If you want to try paleo, keto, vegan, vegetarianism, pescatarian, breatharian, that's a thing. It's basically anorexia. Cool. Right?
I'm not touching it. Because I don't need the emails and I don't need calls from the board.
That's fair.
I don't need any calls from my board of governors saying, so you were talking about breathorexia and the conversation went left?
No, it's
keep going.
Don't go there. That's fair. But like any of these diets, you can look up how to do them, and you can give them a go. That's not the issue. The issue is when shit gets hard, when shit gets emotional, when you start to realize that the goals that you've created for yourself don't actually align with what you want. I just had a client say to me the other day, and I was so happy for her that she said this. She came to me wanting to lose, I don't know, like 20 pounds, something like that. Wanting to lose 20 pounds. She has not lost 20 pounds since we've been working together. And she said to me the other day, I like my body. I like how it is. I think it looks good. And I was just like, great. Let's get rid of that goal then. Like, let's still focus on being a healthy person, but part of being a healthy person, most of being a healthy person, is you being able to look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I like that.
A healthy person here.
A healthy person here.
A whole person here, like attached to the six pack. It's so crazy that people miss this. You may not co-sign this, but it's interesting working in entertainment, as you and I do or have done or may do in the future. God's not, we're not done yet. Here. Allegedly. Vote. Please vote. Right. So, vote. Yeah. Vote, please. Yes, RBG. Yeah, RBG. Yes.
RBG. Yeah. What does it say? It says herstory in the making.
Herstory in the making.
I love it.
We're being snatched bald by that situation as well that's going on. That shenanigan that's happening in the Congress, as they say. But it's interesting, back to the point, like it's interesting being in environments or working in an industry where people are aesthetically beautiful and yet they still hate themselves. And it's the elephant in the room. And I want us to talk about it so that we can truly get free, Katie. Like, if you are healthy, whatever that means, and I'm one of those woo-woo people that believes that, and here I go, but I'm one of those woo-woo people that believes that if you have a healthy mindset, the weight just falls off if that's what you will. And that's like a weird thing. It's controversial. I know you're gonna be like, but I'm like,
I don't disagree. I think it takes a little more work than that, but I don't disagree with your overall point. Yes.
I'm one of those people that like simplifies like really, really hard shit. Like, like it's easy when honestly, like I'm eating, what my plan is right now is I'm eating one ingredient, everything. So if it's not whole,
that's a great way to do it.
If it's not whole, and if it doesn't like water, apple, pear, onion. Now sometimes it's pico de gallo, but pico de gallo has
individual ingredients,
onion, tomato.
Yes.
So eating that way, I did want to kind of shape up. I got some goals for a second husband, and I shall receive God's best for my life. So I said, let me just snatch her together so I can feel good in my body. Some of it was vain, but most of it. And so I started doing this one ingredient item thing as my choice. Like you said, pick it from the wall. That was my choice. But when my mind, like I've started to think, I'm making this choice of one ingredient items for the purpose of a long and happy life. So the intention is not, I've not stepped on a scale in years. The intention is not to be skinny, but the intention is to be whole. And by eating wholly, which is not church, but holiday.
I understand.
But by eating wholly, I feel like a better human being. I'm less cranky. I'm certainly less of a bitch. And
you're giving yourself the food that you actually need, and ultimately you're probably doing a better job balancing your blood sugar. And that's the thing that makes us bitches usually.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that, because the honey buns that I would smoke up and eat every other night, and the bag of Doritos wasn't going to balance my shit, was it?
No, not so much. Not so much. But I like you touch on a really good point of like health and aesthetic are different. you can have giant muscles, a 6-pack, 2% body fat, and not be a healthy person overall because you're going home and beating yourself up every day, or because you miss a workout, or you have a chip. You're just like self-flagellating all day, right?
I don't know who you were channeling just there. Have a chip.
Have a fucking chip. No, I mean, but the thing is, especially for women, but certainly not only for women, remembering that like there are certain ways women are built with more curves than men, and a lot of these fads are started by men. Like they come from men's bodies a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So like a 6-pack for like my body type is not particularly realistic. And it's not like I can do all the crunches in the world. I can eat all of the low fat, no fat, super
low glycemic index.
Yeah, whatever. I can eat the perfect diet, which I very much put in quotes, and I might never have abs. I might never be below, frankly, like I've got hips to die for.
Come on. Bless your husband. Bless your husband.
That's my husband. I'm probably never going to be below a size 8 or a size 6. So like trying to be like the size 2 Elsa on Broadway? No. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't mean
doesn't
I can't
make
play
sense.
Elsa on Broadway, but
right. Yeah. I want to see a creative future for us that includes everybody. You know?
Yes.
Like where it's like, you know, she can sing. Let's let her sing.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed, Katie, with well, I can't talk. We'll talk about it after. But I'm obsessed with this theatrical concept, and I'm wanting to like cast just regular people, like schmegular. I want to do something. My hope in life is to create theater that is Broadway budget and Broadway level with regular the fuckers. No step and repeat, no red carpet, no crazy, after party. And I've lived all of this. I've closed the show and did all the things on rooftops. All the things, Jesus.
Love a good New York rooftop.
I've done it. Yes. And still, I would rather do it with super talented, regular schmegular people.
Yeah. Because I think ooh. Come
on. What's bubbling?
I think if you're a regular schmegular, I like that term. You're what am I gonna say? There's a realness about having a specific kind of lived experience that comes along with being judged for being regular schmegular.
Say that. Oh my God, you're good, but you're fast with it. Slow down.
Sorry. There's a specific kind of lived experience that comes along with being a regular schmegular that I think a lot of people who are in performance who have never been that don't understand. And so there's a realness to it. There's a realness to a lot of those people.
There's a realness to the regular schmegular people who want to be regular schmegular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially if they want to be regular schmegular.
Yeah. I love it.
As opposed to having so much of your ego and your fame and your finances in that case wrapped up in what does your body look like.
It's a prison. It was a prison for me. For those of you who want a little Love City Arts treasure chest treasure hunt, look deep into the archives of the internet, and if you wanted to find it, you could. There's a very, very skinny picture of me. We call it, well, I can't say out loud what me and my friends call it, but it's a very skinny. I'm in a Speedo on a cruise ship. I was doing like 7 shows a week, running every morning, chasing someone like when you're in these casts, there's a race towards who's the thinnest. On the cruise ships, when I was on cruise ships, you had to be within plus or minus like 5 to 10 pounds or you got ridden up. And so, yeah, the appearance clause that they used to have where we can fire you if you change any part of your appearance during your time here. This happens in theater all the time.
Yeah, no, I know. I forget sometimes because I don't do theater in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, that's so terrible.
I've worked in theater spaces with receipts. You can DM me if you want the tea, but I've worked in spaces where they've said, and I'm naming them right now, Carnival Cruise Lines for sure when I was there decades ago. A young whippersnapper cutting my teeth on the ocean as a professional, they had us show up every Tuesday to jump on the scale in front of everybody and log it in a book. So you can imagine.
That's terrible. That's awful.
It's terrorism.
Like, sure, yeah. Or, yeah. It's, I'm like, sorry. Because to me, like, here's the thing. At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, you're another day older. Sorry.
Love that show. Okay. At the end of the day, I have now had 2 babies. I am 20 pounds heavier than I was prior to having 2 babies.
And beautiful.
And no one can tell. And so, like, if you can't fucking tell that there's an additional 20 pounds on me, like I've asked friends who are not gonna lie to me about it. You know, who will
look the same to me. You look the same to me.
Yeah. You can't necessarily tell, and like that's the
regular
thing
schmegular. You look regular.
Yeah, right. If you're fitting into your costume and you can't fucking tell, who cares if you gain 20 pounds? I wouldn't fit into my costume right now. But I just had a baby.
That's not the point. And you're allowed to be in the body you're in, which is the whole point. And I think what we're getting to and what you've been pointing to and what I've been pointing to is the fact that these rules that are made up are prisons. And they can really keep you super, super trapped if you're not careful.
Yeah.
They really can. So yeah, what does it look like to have, the office secretary as the lead in a show? But like, I'm not talking about community theater. I'm talking about, this is a person of noble heart who says, I love singing so much and I think that I'm a Grammy award-winning talent. I'm not talking about like someone who says they're a Grammy award-winning talent and we know like, what girl? Like,
no, they need to actually be talented, but giving those people who have done the work.
They've done the work.
Right? And the only thing that's kind of maybe not the only thing, but like the thing that's getting in the way of them getting a foot in the door is
a table full of white people.
Yeah.
Wait,
what did you say?
A table full of white people.
Yes.
And the things you were going to say, but we got to start there. The only thing that's helping them.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. A table full of white men. Although
say this. Asking me if I read the show that the black lead was in. Okay, y'all. I'm Xing them completely out of the equation for the rest of my life. If I get to play in those spaces and if I get to do another show at that scale, then God love it. If not, I want that regular schmegular love. And we're gonna like concretize that tonight, like in our energy and in our bodies. What does it feel like to be regular schmegula, but love it and just flaunt it and just be present for your friends and for your loved ones as a regular schmegula? Like how, I couldn't tell you the numbers of a follower on any of my platforms. I'm regular schmegular. Either you gonna fucking get this love or not. I'm doing crazy radical shit over in Love City Arts of like unfollowing everybody on the platforms and only following the people who give that love vibe back. Because here's the deal: you don't want everybody in your bullseye. You don't need everybody in your bullseye. You need the people like Katie that are going, love yourself, friend. and
Yeah.
love your body. And that's the kind of person I want to be following. And that's a person I want to follow. Having 10,000 followers just for my ego don't do shit for me when I'm crying myself to sleep at night.
No. And in fact, it probably makes it worse. It probably makes it worse because it feels, to me, what that ends up feeling like is like, oh my God, look at all the people who are not caring about this right now.
Yeah.
Who have other shit to care about, and I know about all that other shit that they are caring about.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a lot. Are you affordable? Like, this is not a sales pitch, ladies and gentlemen. Like, Katie's going to be divinely taken care of. So give her your money to her or not, like someone else will. But are you appropriately, can people kind of, you don't have to give your rates right now. I know,
sure.
But and people can look you up on your website and find out more about you, but is it approachable?
I think so. Mm-hmm. That being said, I do have a sliding scale.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that.
Well, I don't put it on my website necessarily.
Oops.
Well, there's a marketing tactic behind it.
I'm joking. Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I have lower priced offerings. I have like higher priced one-on-ones. Yeah. I actually have a program starting beginning of November called Keeping It Balanced. That is a group program. So that's certainly more affordable for people. Okay, yeah.
Good. We'll make sure that it makes it into the Love City newsletter, and that you continually let us know what you're pushing, and then we'll push it. Like, it's like, for me,
amazing. Thank you.
When love is as easy as a forward button, I don't understand why we're not healed. Like, love is as easy as me saying, listen to this. For those of you who will listen this back in podcasts, or if it's in the fucking time capsule 3,000 years from now, if y'all don't blow this motherfucker up, hear me when I say. I don't think
it's good. Here's the thing. We're not going to blow it up. We're just going to use it up. That's the problem.
Right. Yeah. Because we only think it's like the flip sides of a coin. You do want to be no day but today, #rent, but you also don't want to be like, my grandchildren can't breathe. Well, someone has a comment. Right. Can you please tell us about Lamont is a better interviewer than me. Okay, so here we go.
I love Lamont.
Okay. Is he a theater person? A singer person?
Yeah, no, we did our grad degree together at NYU. He was in classical voice. He is a fabulous tenor. Just
okay, Lamont. Slide on in the DMs, Lamont. If you're a fabulous tenor, I wanna talk to you about it. You got a couple of notes? Or have him on to come and sit in the hot seat and talk about life, and I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, let's see, Lamont, so that Lamont doesn't get mad at me. Can you please tell us about your experiences auditioning and working in the musical theater industry, and what you know now that you wish you knew in the beginning? Short thing. I'll let you go first. I have tons to say about this.
I think you're gonna have more to say about this than me, because here's what happened. Here's what happened. I was in New York auditioning for classical shit. And this is where my interest in coaching versus, because you asked earlier, like, why is voice teaching over there? I ended up teaching so much that I couldn't perform. I ended up teaching so much, making bank. That was great.
Yeah.
But teaching so much that I didn't have like the vocal capacity to keep going at the end of the day. So I didn't start doing musical theater again until I left New York City. And then it was like my soul opened up. It was fantastic. So you might have more useful stuff to say about it to him in this space.
All right, I'm gonna go really quickly because Lamont doesn't like when I go on and on. So, which I love. Okay, so, but he may forgive me if I talk about what he wants you to talk about. So, can you please tell us about your experiences auditioning and working in the musical theater industry? Okay, I want to speak for myself. Auditioning and working in the musical theater industry, I want to keep my energy pure.
But remember, you want to keep your energy pure.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that you should spiritually bypass.
I'm not gonna spiritual bypass. I'm gonna tell the truth. I just gotta figure out how much truth we gonna talk about tonight,
Okay.
and how much
Okay,
time
cool.
we have. Okay, so Lamont, dear Lamont Watson, dear H. Lamont Watson, if I were responding to you, I would say, my auditioning. I've been auditioning off and on in New York City for the last 7 years, not counting this fucked up situation that we're all in together, and we're gonna make it through together. 7 years ago, I moved here from Wyoming. I had 2 months rent, and I hope this is helpful, Lamont. I had 2 months rent and plus $500. Now I had friends here who were like, here's where you're staying, so that's where the rent goes, and here's a potential lead to a job or two. That worked out, but that's all I had plus the $500. Auditioning became just awful. I don't like the process of it, Lamont. I hope this is helping. Because you're in the space, like you're like, for sometimes it's like a whole day, like, of you just sitting around waiting to sing. And I'm really trying not to
one
discourage.
audition, right?
For one audition. He says,
Yeah.
I love both of you, and thank you for answering my question. Okay, so we're on a good path. Okay, I'm talking about, I got class from Lamont. I just met Lamont, and I'm trying
I'm
to
impress Lamont.
I'm trying to pull you in the city, Lamont. Okay, here's the go. So, yeah, you're in there. So, for some people, I never talk about this. For some people, you show up at like 6 a.m. and you stand online outside the building until it opens at 9. Then you come in to the building, you sign into security. I'm gonna walk you through it. And I actually should do like a body cam and like take someone through the day.
Like a GoPro?
Yeah, and GoPro is better. Yeah, body cams are for people who don't use them.
Yes.
Okay, so anyway, you walk it. This is helpful. It's gonna be a horrible story, but it's helpful, and it's going to illustrate to you, Lamont, why I'm trying to change it all. In Love City with people like Katie and you, Lamont, you high tenor singing ass. Okay, so, you wake up 6 o'clock. No, you wake up at 4. You wake up at 4 or 5.
Yeah, because you got to be in line by 6 o'clock, and you got to look good.
You got to be in line by 6. You got to be warmed up. You got to be warmed up on the street.
The number of times I did lip trills on the subway and looked like an idiot. Yeah.
Now, one thing you should know, Lamont, is that and this is gonna be fun in replay. One thing you should know is that your roommates and your neighbors through paper thin walls can hear every movement in the fucking house, because you're in New York City and you're literally stacked on top of each other. So even if you're trilling at 4 or 5 in the motherfucking morning. Now, and let me be very clear also, Lamont, there are different rules, because for full clarity, this is just the way it exists. I'm not saying I support this. I'm not saying I support this. I'm not saying I support this. If you are a non-equity actor in musical theater in New York City, you're on the street at 6 a.m. waiting for your turn in line, even though you have to pee for 3 hours in the cold to get into the building, if you're a non-equity actor. If you are an equity actor, and I won't get into all of that, but if you're an equity actor, you can get things like appointments, or like you can get appointments. They can invite you to come in and sing at 1 p.m. You know you're in at 1 p.m. and you're out by 1:15, and either they liked you or they didn't. But you got to kind of like grow yourself, or either get into those spaces to become equity. There's a lot of controversy around that. It really offends a lot of people. Never, ever, ever be an equity person that loves yourself around non-equity people that hate themselves. I'm gonna say that again for the sizzle reel.
No, you're not wrong though.
That is a shot, bang, bang, heard around the world. Never be an equity person that loves yourself in a room full of non-equity people that hate themselves. And the reason why I'm saying it that way, beloveds, is because it means different things to different people. And y'all get so caught up on the letters AEA that you don't even pay attention to making good art in the world. Y'all are the same ones going, I don't work for free. Sure. Then sure. Then pinch off your love and your joy until you get the equity card. But let me tell you something. As someone who has a very expensive equity card, when my tears hit the pillow because Black Lives Matter, none of that matters. None of it matters. Okay, so anyway, sorry, Lamont. Lamont's not gonna like that. I went off on a, okay. So
I think Lamont will like that plenty, but
okay, cool. Okay, cool. And so, if you're equity, you're in the building. I am equity, so Lamont, I have to confess that. So I get appointment slots, and when I had an agent that dropped me, by the way, so if you're out there looking for a 5'8", about 150 pounds, I don't weigh myself, singing Black man, in addition to Lamont, who also is a singing Black man, send us your agents. I would love to have a new one. I
will say, earlier on the call, before we started, Andre did not know that I could hear him, and he sings very well.
Oh, thank you for the assist.
You're welcome. I don't know if you were in the shower or what was going on, but
regular schmegular singing is what I was doing. And so anyway, I have loved myself. I'll put it this way. I've loved myself enough and worked myself enough into a place where, whether it's an agent request or not, I can, for the most part, gratefully go audition and like invite only. And some people would say like that's a kiss of death to actually say on a live stream, but it's just my truth, Lamont. Like I send my shit in and I humbly request that you give me a slot so that I don't burn my whole day. Okay, so you're out there at 6 a.m. Then you're walking into the building, you're checked into security, you're going upstairs, and they put you in a holding room. Never in COVID would they ever, but they put you in a holding room,
right,
and you're sitting there against the wall. And then, this is just my experience, then people start acting really weird. This human thing happens in that holding tank, where as the young ladies, and those who present as young ladies, and they these as well, and the they thems and the gentlemen, everybody's in there for the most part primping and polishing themselves the best they can that early in the day, or they're sleeping because they know they signed a list to say who they are in line. That list is hundreds of people long. Be not discouraged though. God is still in the blessing business. Hey, so there's hundreds of people on that list on the wall. Some people are sneaking in to the building after they close their late night shifts at the restaurant to put up their own fake list. White people, they put up their own fake list. Our white musical theater brothers and sisters, you know, the grandest colonizers of them all. They do on brand. They put on the wall. You can't look. Katie would refute me if this shit wasn't true. But to be
fair, I don't know if it's true, but at the same time, I know that there are plenty of white musical theater performers who think that they deserve something that they don't.
I love that you place that also in your mask. Think that
yes, well, I do like my mask quite a bit.
They deserve more than it. It was beautiful. It was beautifully executed. I love it. They do. They really do. And that drive, coupled with a little bit of colonialism,
fair.
And by some Black people that subscribe to that thought as well of scarcity, they come off their shifts. They don't believe that they're going to make it unless they do this. And they go into a closed building and they put a fake list up on the wall with their names on the top. And then when people come in the next morning after standing in line in the cold for 3 hours, they're now number 30 instead of being number 2. So the game gets played that way, Lamont, in musical theater in New York. But you're in the building, your number gets called, and cattle call, and you just go in. You will sit there in the building for 8, 9, 10 hours, and you will sing in front of the white people for
8 bars.
Huh?
8 bars.
8 bars.
15 seconds.
15 seconds of music.
Yeah.
The hills are alive with the sound of music. Done. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so that happens. So then you get it. And so that's the story. And so you do that, Lamont, for several years. You do it, in my experience, because you asked about my experience, you do it so much. You watch people come out of the room and throw your headshots down on the table. You have good vocal days, you have bad vocal days. Sometimes there's phlegm where you need air. Sometimes the voice you had yesterday is not as good as the voice you have today. And, you know, people look at you behind the table and they go, what would you really like to sing? Because what they're telling you is that what you sang was awful and it didn't move them at all. All of this is happening in this room. Even now doing appointment only or invite only for myself. Even when you show up on time, there's still this, you know, hollowness to the whole experience. And then on the non-equity side, or on the people who do open calls or cattle calls, they're in that room and they are puffing up their chest and they're they're doing all of that like right beside you to try to like shake you from your center. And so they're going over and they're plucking notes, and y'all are both musicians, so you know what the fuck I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. For those of you who are not musicians who will listen to this in the replay, because this is an educational experience for us because we're here, plucking in a note means going over and hitting what is another musical thing called a bell tone. Wow, it really is a lot of training.
Yeah.
So this person plucks a bell tone, which if you said that to someone who was not in our business, they'd be like,
why are you carrying bells around?
Right. Essentially, this person, this stranger who looks like you and is the same height as you, if you're going in for the same part, goes over and hits a boom, and then goes, yeah, like that. That's what they do in front of you in that small room, and you're forced to sit there and go, that's nice. Actually, it's better than what I can do. It's actually really better. And in the calls, Lamont, where they give you the sheet music to prepare ahead of time, then they're going over and they're stealing the note. They're getting the bell tone for the note that you got the bell tone for 20 days ago. And it's the note, and then they're singing the part that you're all auditioning for in your face. This is why, and you're very shaken by this because
so Andre loves auditioning for musical theater.
you're gonna, but no, Andre took back control of Andre's motherfucking life because I told the Lord, I went up to the slave house. I went up to the slave house one last time a couple of years ago, and I said, I saw the kids, you know, Algonquin. Well, you're not in musical theater, but there's a theater.
Algonquin Playhouse?
Yeah, you know Algonquin.
20 minutes from where I live?
Okay, so you know Algonquin.
Yes.
High class, very respectable and wonderful and talented musical theater happening at Algonquin. But that's what's happening on the stage. What's happening in the audition is no less than 600 to 800 white children running back and forth as they scream, number 42 to number 52, go over there. Number 62, we're not ready yet. Number 100 through 200, we won't see you until after lunch. Number 500 to 600, we'll see you maybe today. If not, tough shit that you were on the street at 6 o'clock. Take your headshots back if you decide to stay. If you don't want them, if you do want them, then take them. If you don't want them, then we'll trash it. This is real. This has really happened to me.
Oh, I know.
I had my face thrown across the table. And so I walked up and saw all the white kids running around, Katie. They were like, it's me. It's like Fame on crack. And yes. I said, And I say this with all humility for people who will hear this in the time capsule. I looked at it all. I stepped off the elevator that had no less than 30 people crammed into it trying to get to this Algonquin call like me. And I stepped off the elevator and saw the chaos. It was like a war movie, like just like, and I said, this, and y'all need to catch this because some of you are having these moments in your own life. I said, this is not God's best for me.
You actually said that out loud to someone? I love that.
But like off the elevator though, like the elevator. The elevator
it's so
door,
true.
The elevator door opened. I stepped off with 30 people, smelling their armpits and everything. Get out there into the chaos, and out loud I uttered, "This is not God's best for me." And I backed back into an empty elevator and went back down to the street and went home. And I said, if I do make it to Broadway, and the theater kids don't like to hear me say this because they think that I'm in my ego about it. I'm really not. I'm regular schmegular. But I told the Lord that day, and I'm not even that religious anymore, but I told the Lord that day, love, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it. I said, if you're going to bring Broadway to me, and if we're going to do this thing, I'm not going to do it up there like that. And then, friends, I'd already decided 10 years prior that I was never going to be Beyonce. That had become very clear. And then that was the day that I surrendered my Broadway dream. I said, it could happen. I want to leave the door open for the possibility, but I surrender all, which is something that Oprah said before she got cast in The Color Purple. So I stole that from her, which she stole from a hymn. Mm-hmm. And I said, I surrender all. I'm not going to be Beyonce, and I may not make it to Broadway, but you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get my hands dirty and starting something. And see, this is for you, Lamont. I'm going to get my hands dirty and starting something called Love City Arts. There's got to be a way that I can both do these fucked up auditions, but also love on artists who want to be loved on. It's like creative, beautiful booty rubs.
Yeah.
How about that for a promo? So that's my experience with musical theater and working musical theater. That's auditioning. Quickly, I'll say the working part in musical theater is wild. It is, once again, you find people like Katie who love themselves enough to just fucking sing and be excellent at it, and it's all love. And then you find people that want to add extra notes right beside you on the Broadway stage as if everybody isn't talented. And so you get that also in the industry. I will say that my good friend Yolanda, I'll just leave it at that. Yolanda, who's an actress on television and lives in New York City, is based here. She's told me when I first moved here, you want to work yourself to a space where you're so high in your craft that the assholes can't breathe there. Yeah. And we know there are going to be assholes everywhere up and down the tree, but I have found that people who sing on Broadway mind their P's and Q's a bit better than the ones at some of the other playhouses I've worked in. Because for the industry people who are deep in the mud of it, that is the place where you make it or break it, whatever the fuck that means. And so I will say, working in musical theater industry, there's mess that I engage on cruise ships that I did not have to engage on Broadway. There was just a whole, and then you start like factoring in the equity cot that they provide for you that allows you to sleep between shows in a nice comfy area. And the in our theater at Broadway in like 53rd or 52nd, like there was endless red energy drinks. I think Monster Energy like sponsors like Broadway or some shit, because behind, like in the back of house in every Broadway theater that I've been in, there is a giant, tall, towering case of Monster Energy drink.
That's so strange.
Both
that's
sugar,
like terrible for you, but that's fine.
They're killing themselves for the love of it, right? Both sugar-free and not sugar-free. Lamont, let's talk sometime off live about, we can trade more battle scars stories. I will say this though, Lamont, in closing, I love what I do because it connects me with people like you and Katie.
Yeah.
There's a language that we have, and as much as I still want to say fuck these people and leave it, but my heart compels me to keep coming back to the love now. What I know now that I wish I knew in the beginning, you don't have to try as hard. I sent from a vocal help me, Katie. Pedagogical. Say it again.
Pedagogical. Vocal pedagogy point of view.
Yes. From that point of view, I was singing so hard in my 20s. Like I was muscling up for notes that I always had. And we all have our gifts and our talents. And y'all as singers know, we know the notes we have and the places we can go. I always had those same places in my 20s, but I let people and my self-esteem fuck me out of being free. What I wish I knew then that I know now is that the people that laugh at you in the wings, and I'm throwing a punch right now, the people that laugh at you in the wings while you're singing on stage because you missed one note, they more than likely will not be with you on Broadway.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I wish I knew. Forget the riffraff and forget the bullshit. Just be excellent in your craft and keep love at the center of your heart and be generous with your creativity. And don't let these fuckers shake you. That's what I wish I knew. And the most important thing that I'm learning this in my romance. I'm learning this professionally, personally, in my art. And it's something that they teach and something that I teach as a vocal teacher. Sometimes you think you need more air. This will preach, Katie. Sometimes you think you need more air to produce the sound, but sometimes you need less air, less effort, to balance the mechanism, to keep it really centered and like here, as opposed to too heavy. That's how I teach. Like too heavy in here, too much up here, regions. And so I was tight in my voice. I didn't even sing the way I do now 10 years ago because I thought I had to do so much.
Yeah.
So I wish I knew, Lamont, to just tell the story. Sing your fucking notes, keep it classy, and go the fuck home.
That is actually something that I consistently am telling students. Like, simplify. That being said, I will say, going back to the pregnancy thing for a second.
Yes, please. Always.
My boobs are about to explode.
Oh my God. That would be a Love City first. We've been going, oh my gosh. Wait, what time?
Yeah. No, it's almost 11.
I think this is a record, Katie. Thank you so much for hanging on. That's why we've lost all the viewers, but too. I have loved being here with you. For those of you who are into a holistic approach to your bodies, a holistic, including your voice, but not so much your voice these days, but the whole, as your voice is part of your body. If you're into loving yourself in that way and following really, really if you're really interested in following really uplifting and encouraging content from one creative heart to another, I encourage you to get on Katie's list, keepingitrealwithkatie.com.
KeepingItRealKatie.com.
KeepingItRealKatie.com. Keeping It Real, and they'll be in the show notes. KeepingItRealKatie.com. Follow her on Instagram at
KeepingItRealKatie. It's a nickname that a friend gave me before.
It's the best way to be, and you just kept it real by telling us that your boobs are going to explode. And then that, friends,
Keeping it real
is Love City history. You won't see that next door. I love you so much, Katie, and your exploding boobs. I
love you too.
I think
even without exploding boobs.
Yeah, both and. I love the gift that you bring to the world. So let's just keep it going, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
you're always loved. It's from the Trader Joe's wine aisle to now 11 years later.
Yes.
We're still just as in love as we were by the Pinot Grigio.
Yes. I don't even know if it was a Pinot Grigio, but yes.
We don't fucking know. Have a good night, friend. Hold, hang tight.
Yeah.